Hello, everyone. I'm Charlie, and welcome back to another Premier League DraftKings Soccer Slate breakdown. So, it is a two-gamer Premier League slate this weekend because of all of the FA Cup games going on. So, look at how many games have been postponed here. So now we're just left with Luton, Forest, and Burnley, Brentford. So it's not a large slate here by any means. It's a two-gamer. There's no huge favorite to stack or anything. So kind of can pick and choose who you'd like. It's kind of similar to that UCL slate with Dortmund we had a couple days ago, in that you kind of can pick from anywhere. In terms of set pieces, for Luton, it is a Doughty monopoly. We saw him go to center back at one of those games a couple times ago. It still didn't stop him from taking everything. He wasn't a center back for I even think that long, because they clearly saw his strengths are best utilized getting up and down on that left hand side and just whipping crosses in, which is just perfect for the DraftKings scoring system. For Nottingham Forest, it is a Morgan Gibbs White monopoly. However, we have seen like Toffolo or Nuno Tavares, whoever starts at left back, take a little bit in the past, but I think we're more or less over that. But I guess it is a small possibility, but it should be a Gibbs White monopoly. In terms of the notable injuries, who knows where Gio Reyna is? I think Nuno Tavares is actually injured anyway. And Luton have a whole host of guys missing. Burnley Brentford. Cullen took over Brune Larson last game. I'm not sure if they'll continue to do that, but that's just what they did most recently. So that's what I'll assume happens for now. But we could see maybe they'll split, or maybe Brune Larson will start to take everything again. Like, Company has not been super consistent with his set pieces. We could also see like a good Munson and he'd take the most. So like they're pretty lineup dependent, and even then it just could be really anything. For Brentford, if it's this team, it should be a Jensen monopoly. If we see no Jensen, it'll be Yenelt taking, with maybe Lewis Potter splitting, but that's not a for sure thing. Another guy who could be in is Sergio Reguilon. I think he's expected to be back apparently. And if he's in, he'd split with Jensen or take everything if Jensen is not in. And finally, the other guy coming back from injury probably is Mbuemo, who has a chance of being in the squad. I doubt he starts, but he could come off from the bench, and I think he takes set pieces when on. Although him and Reguilon have never been on the field together. In terms of prices, two most expensive guys who are going to start are Gibbs White and Ivan Toney. And I'm kind of interested in both of them. Ivan Toney he's not been great as of late, but like he just has potential. He's one of those guys who just needs to get like one goal, and I think then you'll get a one little run. And on a two gamer, like there's room to get there. Then there's Gibbs White. He's probably a plug for cash on a two gamer Monopoly set taker. Him and Doughty, I probably just go both of them for cash and not even give it a second thought. Then second forward, yeah, it comes down to Tony. If there's no Cullen, I could see myself getting a Brune Larson. That's a little bit of a scary roster though, just because you know his minutes are going to be limited. But he's an option. Hudson Odoi, was he in projected? I doubt it. He was actually. How's he been? I haven't really even thought of him lately. He's all right. He's actually pretty solid. He went on a little hot run. He must have been injured or something. Or no, I don't know. He just was not starting last game for whatever reason. I don't think that's that bad. Lisa, I worry about him a little bit if Mbuemo's on the bench. He's probably who comes out for him. I think they've been subbing him even without Bruton or without Mbuemo in the team. Yeah, like he doesn't go 90 often, but he's been pretty hot. Goals 3 games in a row. I prefer Tony over him though, considering how similarly they're priced. And I just back Tony's talent, even if he's the one not in form. So those are my thoughts on them. Ogbene, For some reason, I'm betting he has a higher floor as a wing back than as a winger, which is kind of strange considering when you're further up the pitch, you just should take more shots. You should be having more opportunities to cross when you're that high up, but not been the case for him. It's kind of been strange. But saying that, he's still a pretty good just attacker for Luton. Like he's got a decent floor regardless of where he plays, and like he just gets points. Like he gets some goal contributions, and even when he doesn't, he can get that 8 point floor. Like I think he's in play for sure, even in cash. Awani'i, I think it's a little much for him. I liked him more when he was in the 5 to 6K range. For 7, I think it's just a little bit too much here, considering these a lot of how good these guys are. For just a little bit more, or even going lower instead. Like a good Munson if he plays. Like that's set pieces in a home game. Like Burnley dominated Bournemouth at home. Like I know they lost 2-0, but like they could have scored like 3 or 4 goals. It was that one-sided at times in the second half, especially. Malpai, he wasn't projected, right? Nah. Like he'll be he's definitely the guy who's going to get subbed if uh starting. But like, he's been not horrible. I kind of like Brentford here. Like Burnley are going to get relegated, probably. And like I don't mind picking against relegation team ever. Um Ojo Bear, I don't think that's that bad. Like that, yeah, that Bournemouth is what I'm talking about. Look at that. He had 15 points. That's pretty cheap at 6K. Same with Carlton Morris. Both these guys. Carlton Morris always, I think, just for some reason picks up a decent amount of ownership. He was pretty good when he was like 3,500. For 6K, I think it's probably fair for him. Home to Nottingham Forest. Like I don't mind that. Like really any of these forwards because of these odds are not bad. Townsend's all right. There's not a lot of super low value. Like it's kind of everyone kind of fits into that 6 to 8K range, which kind of really leaves it open to being able to play any of these guys. Datro Fofana got a goal against West Ham. He's not a bad play. Like I wouldn't rule out a single forward here. Like any of these guys. Chris Wood, how much was Chris Wood? I didn't even see him. He might be a little much, but like really any forward I could kind of get behind. Just who you're going with Gibbs White, and at least in terms of cash. Or you could go 2 and put Gibbs White in the midfield slot, maybe. Like there's just options here. Strictly midfielders, Giorena. I don't even know what's going on with him. Like there's zero way he starts. Doughty, you plug him in for cash. Like you look at these amounts of crosses. He doesn't get a ton of goal contributions, but he doesn't even really need them. Like you can still pencil him in for 15 points, and then if goal contribution is upwards of mid 20s, like that's solid. On a 2 gamer, give me that every day of the week. Then, in terms of strictly mids, there's Ross Barkley. He's just another guy who just gets points. So I always talk about it. He takes a lot of shots. Like he'll get a couple of crosses. Sometimes he takes like some free kicks. He won't take corners or anything, but direct free kicks he'll take too. He's just a guy who gets points. Like there's no other way to describe it. Like you look at this back-to-back 8 point plus 4 games. Nottingham Forest is not a bad matchup. Like I could see a Ross Barkley play, honestly. Chong wasn't in projected for some reason. I'd be kind of surprised if he doesn't play considering he scored last game. But he's all right, I think. I'd go Barkley over him for cash though. Jensen's really solid at that price. If we see him and no Reguilon, that's a monopoly set taker. Like I'll happily go there for 5,700 on a 2 game slate. Cullen 5K. Ugh, that feels like a little much, but like a set piece taking center mid, on a home team. Like there's definitely an argument for it, but he's just scary because he has not been taking for long. You worry a little bit about them potentially having just a one-off last game, but like there's an argument to play him. I like Brownhill more than him, though. I feel like Brownhill's just more appealing. I hope we get him starting over Cullen, honestly. I think he'd have priority. But Cullen with no Brownhill, something to think about for sure. Yanelt, if there's none of those other Brentford guys being Region or Jensen, I can get behind that for sure. That'd be the only way I feel like he'd take those if none of those other guys played. So it's a very specific scenario for him. Otherwise, he's kind of just another body. In terms of absolute minimum, not a ton of stuff. There's a little bit of value though in the midfield for sure. A couple of those 5K guys are definitely in my consideration. Defender, I'll go Region if he starts. I always play him. He's just solid. He hasn't been back since he's missed every game since that Chelsea game where he still had a 9. He had that little bit of a rough run against those couple of hard matchups of Man City and Liverpool, which I'm not looking into too much. I'll happily go back to Region if he starts. Asignan, he's all right. I think he's a little much now. The guy I kind of want to look at is Vitinho. 4,500. That's probably one of my defenders I'll play. Almost guaranteed if he's at right mid again. Like, how many points did he have against Bournemouth? Only 5.5, but 3 shots. Like that's something I'm looking at. I'm seeing that he's got goal scoring potential there if he's taking that many shots and he's playing that high up the pitch. I can get behind the Vitinho. Everyone else, I'm kind of met on. It's not a super stacked slate for defenders, considering it's only a 2-gamer. Like Lewis Potter's a midfielder, so it doesn't even can't even factor into the thinking. Rorselev, 4,800. That's probably fair. I'd go Vitinho over him, probably. Like Region's my favorite guy if he's in, and then Vitinho's my second favorite guy if he's at right mid, and then everyone else is kind of whatever. Like I'd go any of these guys for value. I always play Pinnock. I wish he was not injured. Everyone else is whatever. Like in cash, I see myself going Region Vitinho if possible. Goalie, it's whatever. All plus odds goalies. Like we saw in that UCL Wednesday UCL slate, it was just a Koval day. He had like 25 points or something. And that's just luck of the draw with goalkeeper. Like they're either gonna give up 4 goals or make 7 saves, and just whether they end up playing well or not, just what it comes down to. And there's no way to really predict that. In terms of a core, 2 games are hard. Like it's hard to get different for GPP. For cash, a little bit. It makes cash a little bit more unforgiving. You get a piece wrong because there's only so many guys you can go, and if you miss one of the guys who goes off and everyone else plays him, you're just done for. It's not like there's a ton of other games you can get that back from. But I'm going Gibbs White and Doughty. If Region is starting, he'll be my third man. If not, I probably go Jensen. If neither of them play, then I go Yannick. I'll have a Brentford set taker in my core. That's what my thinking is right now. But Doughty and Gibbs White, those are locks for me. And then Brentford guy, then I'll probably supplement that with maybe a Burnley set taker of Goodmunson or Cullen. Maybe I'll go Tony. Only so many ways you can go, but I'll have a Brentford set taker for sure, along with those two. All right, shorter vid guys, little 2-gamer. I'll be covering all of the other FA Cup and MLS and random whatever other soccer sites we have in the FSI Discord, which you can access through the website. And good luck, guys. Hope you have a good weekend and see you in the next video. Peace.